As a quick precursor to this episode, I would love to invite you to attend the autumn edition of my in-person event, Dare Greatly in the Coaching Arena, which will be held on Friday the 8th of November in Barnes, southwest London. It's a 5-minute walk from Barnes Station, and there's also a free car parking place on site. So it's the best of both worlds. We will be preparing and planning for your best ever 2025, and you will leave with that vision and strategy for your next 12 months with a newfound sense of connection and focus. We will be harvesting your present and planting the seeds for a profitable and joyful 2025, allowing your business goals to bloom with ease. I'm very excited to be bringing the warmth of the season and all of those beautiful colours and everything we can learn from shedding what no longer serves us and preparing for spring. Embrace the seasons of change and join me on 8th of November to Dare Greatly in the Coaching Arena. Do not worry if you don't know anyone. I will ensure that you feel welcome from the moment you arrive until the moment you leave. I cannot wait to see you there, and grab the link now in the show notes. Hello and welcome to Women in the Coaching Arena podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Lott, a business mentor and ICF accredited coach, and I help coaches to build brilliant businesses. I know that when you prepare to enter the arena, there is fear, self-doubt, comparison, anxiety, uncertainty. You can tend to armor up and protect yourself from vulnerability. In this podcast, I'll be sharing honest, not hype, practical and emotional tools to support you to make the difference that you're here for. Dare greatly, you belong in this arena. Hello, welcome to the 80th episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I am so glad you are here. Today, I'm talking about how to land high-ticket clients consistently, and I will share with you a 3-step strategy. I say high-ticket, which is not usually a phrase I use, but meaning that generally your package is £1,000 plus, because even though that's not particularly high ticket, depending on who you're listening to, it is more than most coaches that I initially start working with are charging for their coaching. That is what I mean when I say high ticket clients. If you are tired of chasing clients by the hour and getting little results in your bank account, today I will share the exact strategy that the coaches that I work with use to gain high paying clients. The core problem is that it's really hard to build a credible, viable niche, really good offer that people actually want to pay good money for, and consistently market that offer to find consistent clients. I have definitely been there in the early days, just like many listeners to this podcast. I was selling coaching because I'd just come out of coach training. I did the ILM level 7 in executive coaching and mentoring. And obviously you're excited because you've learned this hugely transformational skill. You have been coached yourself a lot. So you go around saying, come for coaching, it will change your life. And sadly, you soon realize that that is really hard for people to pay for. Yes, you might gain friends, family, people coming for one session for £50 or something like that. But it's not really an easy, viable way to build a long-term coaching business. That is what I want you to build, because that is what I know you want if you're listening to this podcast. Let's start with a 3-step framework to get you there. Step 1 is to create an irresistible offer. Prior to creating an offer, you really do need to know your niche. So if you haven't nailed that yet, I would just remind you that it's just a decision. I have people I speak to day in, day out that say, I can't nail my niche. And usually I encourage them, or usually they do nail it within a 1-hour call with me after perhaps years of not nailing their niche. Because generally it's just a decision. There is no wrong or right answer, except for knowing a bit of background and logic that I now know through trial and error of working with hundreds of coaches of what actually works in the marketplace. Once you have your niche, you can take our step one, which is create an irresistible offer. What I notice is that most coaches talk about the sessions, the logistics, how often you'll meet, rather than focusing on why the client wants the coaching. I was just in a WhatsApp group of coaches who were sharing their hourly rates and wondering why no one was signing up. And I suggested that you might want to create an offer that's specific to one target audience and one specific problem or outcome. And someone commented back saying, but generally, people want to know how many hours. To be honest, people don't really want to know how many hours if you have positioned it correctly. The example I gave in that WhatsApp group was if you need surgery for some reason, are you saying to the surgeon, okay, you're trying to say that this is going to be £5,000, but how many hours is this operation going to take? You're going, okay, so you're going to solve this terrible problem that I have. Get this done ASAP. You're not saying, I will not work with you because how dare you charge me £1,000 per hour because this operation is going to be 5 hours. You don't care how long this operation is going to be. You just care that this problem is going to be solved. So that's what I mean about creating an irresistible offer. It's not about your time. It's about the solution and the value to that person's life of getting this solution. Okay, step two, once you have an irresistible offer, is to master client attraction and create value driven content. This podcast is value driven content. This is sharing my expertise, my journey, the things that I do with the clients to create value for you in your life, to give you results in advance of ever working with me. I hope that you will leave this episode knowing how to do something or having some insight which leaves you feeling better than you did before you listened to it. So that is what we want to do with our content. Help that person, your ideal client, take a step forward, gain a new insight. We don't want to be stingy with this part because unless they realize that this is possible for them, and unless they start to take steps forward from being really stuck, they won't see the value and the vision that you need them to see to buy your coaching. That is how you can literally serve your ideal client by creating value packed content to attract them into your world, showcase your expertise, and you don't have to feel salesy. I hope that you are gaining value whether or not you buy from me. And that is what I love to do for this community. Some people will take what they learn here and do something with it. Some people will just enjoy the content. And some people will want help consistently implementing this with step-by-step instructions, feedback every step of the way. They are the people I'm talking to. This doesn't need to serve everybody in that community. Just a small proportion of my listeners can be my clients because there is only so many people I can actually serve. Just like you, I had a call earlier with someone who was doing career coaching, and she said she was really resistant to call herself a career coach because someone had messaged her saying, here's all my experience. I want you to get me this type of job. And so she said, I don't want to call myself a career coach because I don't want people thinking that a career coach is someone that just gets them a job and can click my fingers and get them that next job. And I said, that's fine. You're always going to get people like that think a career coach is something different than obviously exploring what you want and all of those things that we know a career coach does. But you can't just not be a career coach because this one or two people demanding that you're like a recruiter or a headhunter. For example, I have people contact me often going, what I want is a done for you service where you write my social media, you write my offer, you run my business for me. That's not what I do. I don't want to write your content, schedule your content. That is a social media manager's job. If you want help becoming the CEO of your business and building that business effectively, that is what I can help you with. And yes, I can give you templates for social media. I'm not prepared to be a social media manager, write them all for you, schedule them in your system, all of those things. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be a business coach just because one or two people want me to do it for them. So really hone in on your absolute ideal client. For this person I was talking to earlier, it was someone who is stuck in their career. They know they want something different, but they don't know their skills. They don't have the confidence. They don't know what to do next. So talk to that type of person. Eventually, you won't attract the type of person who is saying, right, here's my skills, line me up with a job, because your content, your website, your offer, all of those things will not be talking to that particular client. Okay, step 3 is to use a proven sales process to close your sales effectively. What can happen often in this coaching space is people wanting free advice. I would really tune in on how much help you can realistically give in an hour. Yes, it can be hugely transformational. My aim in my first introductory call with someone when they join my program is that they do nail their niche and come away with a bit of an offer from that 1 hour call. It's a hugely beneficial call, but I know from my experience that I can do that with someone, and unless they fine tune it so it actually aligns with them and consistently market it, know how to sell it, know how to create great marketing, a lead magnet, an email system, all of those things that we need to do to build a long-term sustainable business. I know that, yes, they can have a quick win, but realistically, they're not going to get the big result that I want for them and that they ultimately want for themselves. I would really encourage you to not downplay this, because essentially you are robbing that person from the bigger transformation that they could receive. Instead of just offering free or quick 1 hour sessions, I would really recommend creating an irresistible offer, which was our step 1, and learning a good sales system. You can effectively sell that offer. They can see the value it would bring to their life. They can see why spending that money would be worthwhile, and they can actually start the process and literally change their life. I was listening to a great podcast on this earlier, which said, if you're a salesperson, expect no's. I think that is the most challenging part of this sales process, that we don't want to feel that rejection. Therefore, we often don't charge high enough prices and drive enough people to book sales calls and effectively close the deal on those calls, because we are so scared of someone saying, how dare you charge that much for coaching, or whatever you fear they may be thinking. Really tune into the fact that your job on the sales call or discovery call, whatever you like to call it, is just to help that person make a decision one way or another. You're going to be fine either way. Try and detach from the outcome. All you want to do is help them to make a decision. They've booked a call with you for a purpose, which usually means they're interested in what you have to offer. You just have to help them decide, okay, this is the transformation you want. What's your next step? It's just a coaching conversation, essentially. So really go into coaching mode. Let them speak 80% of the time. I have an earlier episode on this. It's about 2 or 3 episodes back from this one on sales conversations. Do listen to that if you want to go deeper into this concept. I hope you found this episode useful. Like I say at the end of every episode, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I have a mass of free resources on my website, joannalottcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lott with 2 T's, joannalottcoaching.com. And I'll also put links in the show notes below. Let me know if you found this episode useful, share it with a friend, and leave me a review, and I will personally thank you for that. Remember to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Get into the arena, dare greatly,